So this is the bass that I primarily play in Ganser. I worked myself into a very strange niche where I only play fretless. I don't play with a pick, so my needs are pretty specific, and I've had to do a lot of research to find what I want. This is a Guild 402, which they made in the early 80s for only a couple of years. This is from 1982. It has an active passive pickup switch, which is such a cool feature, and something that you can't really find very much like the rest of the features of this bass guitar. P90 pickups, it has a really good growl to it, but also can have that kind of warmer, rounder tone when you go passive with it, and paired with a tube amp like my new orange setup, which I love. I just love how compact it is and how large it sounds when it's punched through a venue. Really is like the right combination of a really warm sounding bass with a really warm sounding amp. So I think I'm finally there in terms of my bass setup. It's something that I really, really love. I have about 4 or 5 Guild basses that are all modified fretless basses. And when we go on the road, they basically sleep next to me in bed because they're really hard to replace. I run it through sometimes an overdrive, just like a really typical Boss overdrive, but also the Sans amp is a really important pedal in my setup. It's something that really brings to life an instrument that, gosh, is very old at this point, and really brings a fullness to its sound. So my pedal setup for bass is actually pretty simple, but when you get over into vocals over here, I run through an Eventide mixing link which allows guitar pedals to be used as vocal pedals. And so for me, you know, playing bass guitar as I'm singing, I really need something that I can kind of have at a steady level throughout the show. So for me, that's going to be a mix of a Deluxe Memory Man, which is a delay pedal that I can set on kind of like a soft delay, and then I have a Hall of Fame 2 reverb pedal that I can set to a really nice kind of platey sounding reverb. And that's something that just really helps control what my vocals sound like and the volume level of my vocals throughout a show. And that is my setup.
So this is like 120th anniversary Gibson Les Paul Melody Maker. It's like from 2014. I've played it to bits, as you can see. It's got a Bigsby on it. The Bigsby was here when I got it. I got it from online from a guitar shop in Arizona. I have had to like reglue the half the neck and half the fretboard. It's just got like the stock P90s in it. But this bridge, I've taken it into like many guitar shops and nobody can tell me what it is or where it came from, which is cool. But that does mean that nobody really knows how to set it up properly, so I often have to like get in there and twist some bolts. I don't know. It's like it's probably the last guitar I'm gonna own unless, you know, it breaks, in which case we'll try to track down another one. But like, this is my favorite guitar I think I've ever owned. I recently bought my first effects pedal. It is the Roland Space Echo RE202. I don't have effects really otherwise. It's just a tuner straight to the amp. This equalizer I click on to like cut some of the gain off the amp, just make the signal a little quieter so it isn't quite as gainy. Or if I want to, you can just turn everything to 10 and then it sounds like your amp's gonna explode. And I do that sometimes if I want to have some fun. But this Space Echo is probably the best sounding. I figured if I'm gonna get an effects pedal, finally, I probably should like get a good one. There's 4 different tape heads. You can combine them in a million different ways. I like when they're all on. And it's got a separate reverb circuit, which is really cool because I figured out again, if you just turn this all to 10, it turns into this like really crazy, like you can click the reverb on and off. So I usually leave it off, but if you turn it all to 10, it turns into this like insane like boost almost, where you can get like overtones and stuff like that. And when I'm doing some of the noisier stuff, it just sounds crazy. And I guess I use it all. I think part of the reason why I really value having like little small, like fewer bits of gear is because you get to like really, really, really learn about it. And yeah, it's my pedal board. I've played Fenders and stuff, but I've got a Vox AC 15 C1, and this is just an odd Vox AC 30 C1. This one, both of them have Celestian greenbacks in them, not the Alnico blues. But that's because that's just how I got them, I guess. I wasn't really a choice. But yeah, they're great amps. It's really all I play. Just run straight into them.
Okay, so this is my keyboard. I am learning keys for this band actually, and I normally play guitar. So this keyboard is perfect for that. It's really user friendly, and I'm actually like slowly discovering that a lot of the presets, especially the sound effects and the musical effects, are really cool. It's the Yamaha MX49, and it's like pretty affordable, and it does the trick. And like I have been experimenting like putting it into pedals. Like if you ever get a keyboard that that's not like the nicest keyboard in the world, just put a little reverb pedal on it and it sounds so much better. So yeah, and it has MIDI, and it comes with a program online, or where you download it, and you can do more like modifications and stuff. So far, basically, I usually use this Holy Grail for the keyboard to add that nice like reverb sound. And then I use these as my vocal pedals, and I go through the Eventide mixing link that Alicia and I both have. We just got it, so you can run guitar pedals as vocal pedals, and it's really cool. You can there's like a wet and dry signal here. You can turn up the input, and it gives you a lot more control, so you don't have to totally rely on the sound guy, especially when it comes to effects. I use this for delay. We have some songs that, the flashback, we have some songs, newer songs where I do kind of psychedelic stuff. So I use that, and then I get a pretty good slapback as well, which I just love. I wish I could just have slapback on all the time. And then this is my favoriteest pedal I've ever owned, the reverberation machine. I started using it for guitar. I just gives this really cool dusty kind of distorted reverb. And you have this switch here, and this one's more of a round I don't know, I guess hall reverb. And then this one is a splash. It's a psh. So you go ding, or ha, and it goes ha, like that after. And there are a lot of songs in Ganser where I have distorted vocals. So I turn this knob here to 5, and I kind of keep my reverb down there, and this right in the middle. And with that and the slapback, it does kind of give that, I don't know, kind of that it's just a sound I've always wanted for vocals, and it's been really cool how much more fun it is to perform as well, in these songs, having that to play with. And yeah, I hope to discover more pedals soon and twist more knobs for this band, but this is it for now.
What we have here is a mid-90s DW drum kit. This is made from Keller shells. This is before DW made their own shells. It's like all DW drum sets, they played together really well. Sequential badge numbers, so this kit was born together. I have a few of these, and really there's not much difference between them. They're very easy to tune, very easy to use. The cymbals, I've gone through a few different types of cymbals for recording. These drums and these cymbals really work well for me. These are some early intermediate K Zildjians from late 80s. The tricky thing about cymbals is the way they sound in person is often different from how they sound on a recording, and these I've found really show up nicely on a recording. Kind of hard to get nowadays, these, this custom medium ride. Can't find them like that anymore. I have a really nice hi-hat too. This is one you don't see very often. This bottom hat is really what makes it. I think this was made for 1 year. It's a K-Custom hi-hat. I have a ride that goes with this too, which isn't that ride, but yeah, like I said, the darkness of these really comes through very nice on recordings, and pretty happy with the setup.
I think the main thing that's always been a through line with this project has always been a collective subconscious of the people that are within it. So, you know, I think a main through line with this band has always been kind of a sense of throwing lines that you overhear in a party into a Google Doc and then seeing who bounces off of it, that sort of thing. It's always been a multimedia project as well. Design, music video direction, editing, all that good stuff has always been a part of our process. But we've been around, you know, for a while now. It's strange to think. We used to meet bands that were around as long as we were, and I used to think that they were so old. And now here we are.
I think I first discovered that I really liked music at a very early age, and I kind of let it become my identity, as a lot of musicians do. It's your favorite bands are the thing, and it never stopped being that way, I guess. And I've been playing in bands since I was probably I think I started my first band when I was 13 or something like that, and just been doing it ever since.
Yeah, I think my background in music started, I played classical music as a kid, but no one told me that there wasn't really a lot of routes for clarinet, so I taught myself the bass guitar in college, and this is strangely my first band, but I think I really came up at a great time to be a 12-year-old because first Gorillaz record came out, you had Bjork's Homogenic out, Radiohead's Kid A, and I think that was the hooks in me.
I wanted to play sax, but I got stuck with the trombone first, then I got the sax. Then my parents surprised me with the drum kit when I was 12, and rest is history.
Yeah, I was always really bad at guitar and stuff, and I had some singing lessons, and it was really awkward for a while, and then I discovered punk music in my early 20s, and it didn't matter if you were bad, so I just kind of had a couple, projects that I was in for a while, and now I still play music because it doesn't matter if you're bad.
Yeah.
Everybody in the band here has a background in music, but for the history of the band and the people that have been involved, and myself in particular, coming from art school and being a painter, I think there's things that you get to be good at as a kid, and it's really great to put your 10,000 hours into it. But when you grow up, you just kind of realize that the creativity can kind of fill itself into different formats. So for us, Ganser is about the music first and foremost, but it's also about writing music video concepts that make us laugh. It's about making designs and then showing them to the band and letting them decide which ones I execute. It's always been all over the place in terms of, gig posters and, that kind of multimedia expression of a project, and I think it's purely because like we absorbed so much in the 90s, you know, just like the top tier of what a multimedia project within a band could be. And, you know, a lot of has changed in music since then, but we really admire that time period and the effort and time and collaboration that goes into it, so it's very important to us. If I had to give advice to a new band for the state of how things are right now, I think first and foremost, you know, write good music, but secondarily, like, nobody's asking you to do this. And, like, let that be free. I would say keep your project secret for a while. Make stuff for yourself. Like, if you were on a desert island, what would you be doing what you're doing right now? And that's a question that we constantly ask ourselves, because there's so many avenues to have feedback from other people, especially online.
Especially feedback you don't want.
Yeah. And, you know, primarily, like, these are the people that I want to be influenced by. So that's kind of where it starts first.
Yeah, and also just make sure that you're doing as much as you can to keep it exciting and, like, fun.
Scare yourself.
Yeah, and often, you know, bite off too much, more than you can chew, you know?
Yeah.
And get on the TikTok. That's where you make the money. That's where you'll get heard, on the TikTok.
On the TikTok. Yeah.
Yeah, surviving on the road is tough. Like, I think it's got to be a mix, right, of like your alone time and then the group time. So I think really carving out for yourself as a person, like, where do you need your alone time? Sometimes, like, it's exercise. I know that's big for you. Sometimes it's having, you know, your headphones, noise canceling headphones. But then I think having group experiences is also really important. You know, finding little stops along the way, finding an audiobook that you all can just like drink in and listen to in all one sitting. It's like you're all having the same trip. It's good.
Yeah, I just like to drive.
Yeah.
It keeps me, that's what I do on the road to keep me safe.
Yeah, I really liked when we went on that little hike.
Oh yeah, Pacific Coast Trail, like up by the redwoods.
Yeah, it's so hard to like do stuff like that on the road, like to build that into your schedule, because like a lot of times you have to like build in 2 hours to the already like 6 hour, 8 hour trip, and like, you know, what if you have to go stop at the bathroom a lot, and like, I don't know, it's like, it's hard. But this band managed to do it, which I was like, this is awesome, because like just getting out in nature and not